All right, everyone. So I don't really know how to start this video other than to say, prepare to be outraged and very upset. Today, we're going to be talking about a situation that is gaining major traction online and around the world, quite frankly, and is now currently being investigated. We're going to be talking about the Australian influencer who's being accused of poisoning her daughter for money, fame, clout, attention, just about all the horrible, greedy things you can think of. But before we get into it, welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Danielle. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. Okay, so major trigger warning. Today's video is not tea or internet gossip. We're going to be talking about medical child abuse and just child abuse in general. Specifically, like I said, a mother who's being accused of poisoning her daughter and is also being accused of Munchausen by proxy. And as we're going through the things we're going to be talking about today, I want you to keep in the back of your mind that at the center of all of this is child exploitation online and mothers monetizing their children on social media and using their kids as a means to fame, attention, clout. And this is the reason why I am so against family channels, family vloggers, mommy influencers, all that shit. And some people may argue,
oh, I follow this family and they do it right. They don't exploit their kids and they get their child's consent. If their kid doesn't want to film that day, they don't film.
Your child cannot give consent. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. A child does not have the mental capacity, whatever you want to call it. They cannot consent to being online. So I hate when people bring up, oh, this family's not exploiting their kid. They have their kids online, but, they're doing it right. They're nice to their kids. No, anybody who is posting their child on social media and making money from that to fund your life and fund your lifestyle is child exploitation, full stop. So what I'm getting at is keep that in the back of your mind as we go through all of this. This is all about making money and child exploitation. Okay, so for some background, the mom in question is Allanah Harris, and she runs a TikTok account called The Harris Family with her husband, Brock Harris. He's also in many of the videos. And before it was deleted, because she deleted it, it had 1.1 million followers. So, they were getting a lot of attention online. This mom was making tons of money. She was exploiting the out of not only her baby that we're going to be talking about today, her name's Daisy, 1-year-old baby, but her other kids as well. And not just her kids, but other kids as well, because she was also exploiting her niece. But we'll get into that. So before she had really gone full throttle on exploiting Daisy, Alana had a baby who passed away. And of course, she posted that all over the internet. She exploited that situation. She made tons of TikToks about it. And this garnered a ton of attention. It got millions and millions of views. I think before her TikTok had gotten deleted, some of the videos where she's talking about her baby that passed away had like 9 million views, 12 million views. So this garnered a ton of attention, a ton of views, aka a ton of money. And in my opinion, I think she saw this, and I don't know if at that point something switched inside of her, and that's when she made the flip. But she realized, there's no doubt about it, she realized that this made a ton of money. And I think that's kind of what kicked off this whole thing with Daisy, because shortly after her baby passed away, Daisy started getting sick and she started documenting the journey and essentially exploiting Daisy. So I think as tragic as that situation may have been, assuming she had nothing to do with it, of losing her baby, I think she potentially also saw this as a net positive, because as we know, she's extremely selfish. So the fact that this made her a ton of money, I think that that's all that really mattered to her. That's just my opinion. But for today, before I get ahead of myself, we're going to be focusing on 1-year-old baby Daisy. And since baby Daisy has been terminally ill with an unknown condition, Alana, her mother, has been documenting this whole thing and posting every little medical update that has gone on along the way. And so we know, because she's shared this herself, that her baby has had multiple seizures that have sometimes lasted for hours. She's also had 8 cardiac arrests, and she's had very long periods of unconsciousness where she would just be sleeping for over 100 hours. And her mom has recorded every single bit of this, from her being unconscious to sharing her at the table completely out of it, sharing her hospital visits, posted photos of her in the hospital, posted a video of her cutting her hair right before having brain surgery. So it's just, really, really sick stuff. And just as a side note, it is absolutely disgusting that there is a whole community online of parents monetizing their child's illness. There's absolutely no reason why you should be pulling out your phone or a camera and filming your child when they're in the hospital. Absolutely no good reason. And you can't even tell me that, it's to spread awareness. We're spreading awareness. No. You can spread awareness without filming your child. You can sit there and talk about the illness. You can post information about it. There are even plenty of doctors on TikTok, on YouTube that talk about different illnesses themselves without posting any child whatsoever. So how are you spreading more awareness by showing your child in a vulnerable situation feeling like absolute shit? How would you like it if you were literally on your deathbed, so sick, and somebody pulled out a camera and started filming you to post it to their millions of followers on social media? They probably wouldn't like it. So why the hell would you turn around and do that to your child who can't even consent to it? And I think it's actually quite dangerous, because once we start allowing this and normalizing this type of behavior, it's a very slippery slope, because parents start to realize that this is big money. Those types of videos where parents are filming and posting their sick child get tons and tons of views, millions of dollars in that niche. And I think it encourages parents to want their children to be sick. And if they're not sick, well, they might just make them sick, as we'll see Alana has done to baby Daisy. So as Alana had been documenting her daughter's journey in and out of the hospital, some of Daisy's nurses had started following their family social media. And they started to see some red flags, because Alana was saying in a TikTok video that her daughter had been put on palliative care. I have trouble saying that word, palliative care. It's, I guess, similar to hospice. And that Daisy had tumors all over her brain. And so these nurses were like, that's odd. That's not true at all. They were like, no, her daughter hasn't been put on palliative care, nor does she have tumors. Those surgeries that had been done on Daisy's brain were exploratory surgeries because they couldn't figure out what was going on. So obviously these nurses put 2 and 2 together and realized that Alana was lying. And so these nurses, these heroic nurses, raised their concerns with the hospital, and they ended up doing a toxicology screening and found that Daisy had very high levels of benzodiazepine in her system, which is basically Valium or Xanax, any type of benzo basically. So obviously somebody has been giving this baby benzos because she can't get them herself, which is a very, very strong drug. I'm surprised she's even still alive, because when you're on benzos like that and you become dependent, you can't just come off of them. And if you try to come off of them cold turkey, you can literally have seizures. It's like pretty much coming off alcohol. You can get brain zaps, you become really sensitive to light, and seizures. And I just have to say, I'm really not hearing enough praise go to these nurses. While, yes, I do believe a toxicology report should have been done far before they performed brain surgery on her, but we hear of so many cases where nurses know what's going on and they, just minded their own business or didn't say anything, or due to the politics in the hospital, or like, for example, that nurse, what's her name? Lucy Letby. She ended up killing like 7 babies in Manchester in the UK, and this whole time there were red flags. Nurses didn't want to say anything because she was so experienced and such a senior nurse. And because of the politics in the hospital, they didn't want to let the authorities know, even though they knew. We hear so many cases where this kind of situation goes wrong and nurses don't say anything. And while it's the bare minimum to ask these nurses to do their job and do no harm and inform the authorities when they see situations like this and they see medical child abuse or anything like that, it is the bare minimum. So maybe the bar is just so low that I'm looking at them like they're heroes. But I do think had they not said something when they did, that Daisy would no longer be here with us, because her mom was already saying that she was on palliative care. That's like the type of care that you're on when you're about to pass away. So if she was already saying that, was she expecting her daughter to pass away, or was she planning on doing something so that her daughter would pass away? I'm not accusing her. I'm simply asking. And with the amount of benzos she was giving her, that baby is so tiny. They can't handle medications like that, especially when you're not a medical provider and you don't know what the hell you're doing. And you can easily overdose them or give them a little bit too much and they might just never wake up again. So I do believe that these nurses are heroes in this situation, but you'll have to let me know what you think. Is the bar just so low now that I'm praising these nurses for simply doing their job because we're so tainted and traumatized from our medical system in the US and all of these providers and doctors doing nothing for us? In most cases, I know that there are a lot of great doctors out there, but you know where I'm getting at. So let me know what you think. I think these nurses are heroes in this situation, but I'm curious to know how you guys feel. So after all this time, all these procedures and all these surgeries that happened to poor Daisy, the mystery of her unknown condition was finally solved, and immediately Daisy was removed from her parents' care and was put into the custody of CPS. And would you look at that? Suddenly, things magically got better. It has been reported, and I still don't know how credible this part is, but I'm sure we will hear more in the days to come. But it has been reported that now that Daisy is no longer in her mom's care, she is acting like a normal 1-year-old baby. She is awake, she is alert, she is sitting up, she is eating, she is thriving. And that tells you everything you need to know right there. And Alana's other children have also been removed from the home and are currently staying with family. Thank God. So it does look like, allegedly, Allanah Harris has been deliberately making her daughter sick by poisoning her with benzodiazepine, all while recording and posting her journey to the internet for the world to see in order to make money. And she was also, it doesn't stop there, she also raised money through a GoFundMe where she raised about $60,000 UAD, which I think is about 39,000 American dollars. So not only was she poisoning her baby for money online, but she was also raising money through GoFundMe for an illness that she caused, wasting a bunch of hospital resources, and she was sponsored by the Ronald McDonald House. So she took that room and that care away from a child who actually needed it. And I hope they sue the shit out of her. She was also monetizing all of this behind a paywall on Instagram. And guys, this is what family vlogging has turned into. I'm not saying that all mommy vloggers are doing this, but this is the type of family vlogging has turned into. When are we going to learn our lesson? When the hell are we going to wake up after Ruby Frankie, Ren Eleanor, Piper Raquel, Daniel Cohen, all of these child influencers and family vloggers gone bad? When is enough going to be enough? Because there aren't any success stories here. They're all bad. Hello, guys, what are we doing? When are we going to wake up? What is it going to take? Is it going to take a child getting literally on camera in front of your eyes to see it? We know what's happening. We hear these stories. We know what's happening when the cameras are off. Why are we still allowing this? This is crazy. It's just so upsetting. We've seen case after case after case. The children are the ones suffering in this. And we see this time after time, and yet nobody wants to do anything about it. No laws being passed, no regulations, no protection, nothing. How long are we going to allow these kids to suffer and these sick parents doing this to their kids? You should be ashamed of yourself. Pathetic. Because your boring, pathetic act isn't interesting enough to film and monetize your own content that you have to use and abuse your kids to line your pockets. It's sick. So after word started getting around of what she allegedly did to her daughter, and people started making videos about it and posting about it, she was asked if she had done anything to harm her daughter. And guys, listen to this response. It's crazy.
Harris is speaking out for the first time since the allegations came out of her continuously drugging her own daughter, Daisy, to make her ill and gain internet fame and money.
It is so unfair, and it's getting addressed at the moment with the proper counsel. I can't speak too much. I will get my lawyer to contact you, Bailey. I do really appreciate the call, but
she says she's now sought legal representation.
Did you harm your daughter?
No, I can't talk to you, Bailey. That's why I've talked to you. I've said this is a matter that cannot be spoken on.
South Brisbane District Chief Superintendent Andrew Pilato.
So she was asked if she did anything to harm her daughter. And I don't even know what bullshit answer she gave, but all I know is that she didn't say no. If it's a no, it's a no. And people are saying, in Australia, you can't speak if it's a criminal case. She's already speaking about it. She was already speaking about the situation. Just say no. You don't have to explain anything else. You don't have to give us details. But if it's a no, say no. All of this makes me just ask so many questions because as we'll see in the next couple of clips, her other kids have been sick in the past. And once you hear their symptoms, it's going to sound very familiar to you. And it also makes me wonder what happened to the baby that passed away. I'm not accusing her of doing anything, but I really hope that they open a full-scale investigation on not only Daisy, but her other kids and the baby that passed away. And also, apparently her husband was really sick in the past, and now people are wondering, rightfully so, if she had anything to do with it. All right, so this next clip is very short, but I only have so much to work with here because, again, she deleted her profile like the coward she is. But you don't need many words here. Just listen to what she says and let me know if this sounds familiar to you.
Guys, Chase slept for 20 hours yesterday.
So she says, guys, Chase slept for 20 hours yesterday. Why are they sleeping so long? You don't think that's weird? That's not weird to you? Why are they sleeping so long, Alana? Why aren't you concerned about that? And the reason why I say it sounds familiar is because she was online saying that Daisy slept for over 100 hours. Something doesn't seem right. Something doesn't seem right with all these kids having the same symptoms, all being sick. So then there's a video where Alana says that her daughter Ellie is having seizures. And guys, I just want you to really pay attention to her demeanor here, how she goes from bawling and crying to just, oh, and then we went to the hospital. Just so bizarre. She's just talking about it so casually. Please just watch her demeanor here.
Anything quite so scary in my life because Ellie just had a seizure and went blue in my arms. When we got to the hospital, her temperature was...
Do you guys see that? When we got to the hospital, it's like she's saying like, when we got to the mall, when we got to Disneyland, what are you talking about? Your daughter just turned blue and you're like, when we got to the hospital, what the f are you talking about? Do you hear yourself? Are you sick? Even if she had nothing to do with this, and to be clear, I think she does, but I'll humor her and let's just say she had nothing to do with this. Posting videos like this would still be absolutely disgusting, bizarre, and inappropriate. Even if you had nothing to do with it, it would still be wrong. Posting videos like the one she does is weird, beyond weird. So as I mentioned, Alana had a stillborn, and take a look at this photo that she took and posted of herself in the elevator at the hospital, knowing that her baby was no longer alive and she was leaving the hospital without her baby. Smiling, taking a selfie in the elevator. You haven't even left the hospital yet. Not only are you already posting about it, but you're smiling. Does something not seem off to you guys here? Okay, so Alana just continues to get weirder because allegedly she was sick with a chronic kidney disease and she claims to have been healed by Jesus. Yeah, and obviously now people are wondering and speculating that that was all fake and a lie, which I mean sounds very plausible based on what we know now. But people found this post by C3 Powerhouse Sunshine Coast. And it says, Alana was a career-focused woman before her life radically changed. After collapsing and being taken to hospital, she was told that she had stage 5 chronic kidney disease. Not knowing what this meant, she started reading her Bible and praying. Along the way, C3 Powerhouse started popping up in conversations, and so she decided to check it out. Alana started getting involved, and after being at church for a while, we prayed for her, and her kidneys radically improved in health and function. This is her story. So basically, she was grifting, allegedly, in my opinion. In my opinion, this is a complete and total grift. I don't think any of this happened. I think this is all bullshit. But again, just my opinion. So let's check out her speech she made after miraculously being healed in 2019.
All right. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Alana. I've been coming to C3 Powerhouse for a little while now, and ever since I walked through the front gates, I felt very welcome and instantly at home. A little bit about my story before I came to C3 Powerhouse. I've believed in God for many years, but I went through a season where I made my career and my business the total focus in my life. I felt that since I was working 7 days a week, I was too busy for church and for God. Working this much really started to take its toll on me, not only emotionally, but physically my body was starting to break down without me even knowing. I took myself to the doctors and was instantly rushed in an ambulance to hospital. I was confused and had no idea what was going on, but I was soon diagnosed with stage 5 chronic kidney disease. For me, I had no idea what this meant. To be honest, I hardly even knew what the kidneys really even did, but I quickly learned that my life was going to change. I was told that until they found a match for a kidney transplant, that I would have to do dialysis treatments 3 times a week to keep me alive. This was hard for me to swallow. I didn't know how I could cram in 15 to 20 hours of dialysis on top of my already busy work schedule, but I managed to squeeze it in. Being stuck in one spot for 5 hours at a time comes with its advantages. I was finally able to pause and had time to reflect on my life and the choices that I'd made. I knew deep down that I couldn't do this in my own strength and that I needed to lean in and trust in God. I started reading my Bible and found strength in God's words, but I still felt a little lost as I wasn't connected in a church. Then C3 Powerhouse started popping up in conversation, and by the third person asking me, I really felt God starting to tug at my heart, and I felt like I really needed to go and check this place out. I started attending church and I loved it so much that I started going to 2 services a week. I did Growth Track straight away, started Alpha, joined 2 Connect groups on alternate weeks, and now I'm serving in the hospitality and the creche team. A fire in my heart has been reignited for God. And then something amazing happened. Pastor John was asked to pray for someone, and not only someone with kidney pains, and not just specifically someone on dialysis and in need of a kidney transplant. At the time, I was not in the service. I was upstairs in Growth Track, but a few of the beautiful ladies came up to get me. I was a little nervous about being on stage, but in that moment, as Pastor John prayed, I could feel the presence of God working inside me. The next day, I went straight to the doctors to get tested and was tested again at hospital the next night. And my kidneys function had raised from 7% to 33%. To this day, it's slowly getting better and better each time, and I strongly believe that through the healing power of God, I will not need to get a kidney transplant.
Something I noticed about that video is she loves the attention. We saw the look on her face when everyone started cheering. The other thing is that she says she put her career and her business before anything else. No, Alana, you put money before anything else, and you still do. So obviously now people are looking to the husband and are curious as to how much he knew, if he knew. People are pissed, rightfully so, and they want answers. But we have to let the investigation take place. We can't just go harassing people and harassing the husband. But for what it's worth, he claims that he didn't know anything. I don't know if I believe that, but That's what he says. So after a 1-month hiatus from social media, he was missing for a while. He came back. He came back to social media and posted this statement to his Snapchat of all places. Brock says, I figured this would be the fastest way to reach everybody as I know everyone likes to gossip. What? This isn't gossip. What are you talking about? For what it's worth, I had no idea about what Alana was doing to Daisy. I pushed for those surgeries because in my heart, I felt that it would help. I didn't realize that Daisy was being drugged the entire time, causing her symptoms to be I think he meant to say what they are. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I'm a good dad and I do my best to love and protect my children. I should have done better for them. I'm sorry I couldn't protect Daisy the way I should have. The children have been taken into custody under speculation I potentially had something to do with this. On everything I have ever known and loved, I had no idea what Alana was doing. Alana, you are an absolute monster. You win. You win. You win. It's a little weird. To all 4 of my beautiful, beautiful children, I love you so dearly. I'm so sorry. I found that statement a little odd. I think there was a lot of me language, like everyone's blaming me. There's speculation about me. I'm a good dad. Sir, you didn't say anything about your daughter. If that was my daughter, I'd be like, I am horrified. I'm completely disgusted. I'm in shock. I can't believe this. I'm beside myself. I love my daughter. My daughter's the best thing that's ever happened to me. You know, I want to get my daughter back so I can love and protect her. But there's really none of that. And I'm not saying that necessarily means anything, but it's just really odd that this statement is all about him. And I just kind of feel it should have been way more centered around Daisy. So a little weird, a little weird. Doesn't necessarily mean that he had anything to do with it, but a little weird. And so if all that wasn't enough, and it wasn't enough that Alana poisoned and exploited her own kids and her own daughter and almost killed her own daughter, she also took it upon herself to exploit other people's children because her 14-year-old niece, I think she was around 14, was staying with her, and Alana started posting her on her social media, dancing in very revealing clothing, moving, she was dancing, okay? And when she saw that this garnered a lot of attention, a lot of views, she continued to post her niece over and over again, which is just sick because we all know where these views are coming from and why videos like this get saved way more than any other videos because predators are watching this. Yes, guys. Predators. I know you might think I'm crazy and it's just like a conspiracy. No, there are legitimate playlists with so many children on them. So many children. This is why I always say when I have kids, I don't think I've ever post them on social media. I don't think so because there are so many kids on these playlists. It's disgusting. And these moms just feed it to them. Just feed it to them. Here you go. Here you go. Here, you want to see my daughter dancing on TikTok and booty shorts and a tube top? Here you go. It's sick. So I'm not going to be able to play the videos. There's copyright music, but also it's just gross. And I don't think we should be looking at this 14-year-old girl dancing. So I'll post like a blurred version. But Alana posted a video of her 14-year-old niece dancing. And the video says, "We are so lucky to have our niece staying with us now. She will be dancing every day until we hit 500K. What content would you like to see from us now?" What? Hey, pals, what kind of content do you want to see my niece dancing to? What do you want to see from my niece? Sick. So the next one says, "Peyton will be dancing every day until we hit 500K. Isn't she cute? Isn't she cute? Hey, pals, isn't my 14-year-old niece cute? What the f*** is wrong with you? Genuinely, what is wrong with you?" This is just so sick. Family vloggers have realized that posting their kids half-naked dancing, period videos, filming their daughters get sized up for bras, filming their toddler daughters eating pickles with their mouths open, all this crazy shit. They've realized that this content makes millions and millions of dollars because it gets millions and millions of views. And why is that? Because, say it with me, pedophiles are watching it. What aren't you understanding about this? Literally, what are you not getting? It's so sick. And honestly, if we don't get these moms off social media, we are going to see a rise in medical abuse because moms, just like they've realized that sexualizing their children makes a lot of money, they're starting to realize that sick kids really make the big bucks. So what are they going to do? Some of them might start making their children sick. I think we're going to see a rise of Munchausen by proxy because before, I think from what I understand, it used to be very rare, if I'm not mistaken. And now what has changed is social media. Now moms have realized that exploiting their sick child not only gets tons of views, they get sent free tons of PR, they get to go on trips, they get all the brand deals, they get sent to Disneyland, Universal, all these things. On top of that, they can also make GoFundMes. It's a booming business for these sickos. And I wouldn't be surprised if we started seeing them having children just to exploit them online, just to make them sick, so they can document their journey and monetize them for money and clout. This is just so sad, and it truly, truly breaks my heart because this poor baby girl will likely never be normal or get to live a normal life, and she'll probably be developmentally delayed in so many ways. We don't even know in what ways she'll suffer, not even just physically. We don't even know what kind of emotional problems she's going to suffer with in the future when she finds out what her mom did to her. I'm sure that's going to be awful and traumatic and horrible to find out, all because her mom wanted to make content. Guys, we have to stop watching this type of content and giving them views. We have to stop watching family channels. I mean, I don't watch this kind of content, but I know a lot of people do, and I don't judge you for it, kind of, but we have to stop watching them. If we don't watch them and they don't get views, then they don't make money. Maybe then they'll stop posting their kids. Until we stop supporting and watching this content, we're going to keep seeing families like the Harris family, like the Resilient Jenkins, like the 8 Passengers, like Piper Raquel, like freaking Ren and Jacqueline, like Micah Stauffer, or the LeBrant family, the family that faked that their daughter had cancer. It's not enough that we just put age restrictions on social media because moms will just find a way around it. They'll call it a mommy ran account, and they'll still post their kids because they'll claim that they're the ones running it. And technically they are, but that's not going to keep kids off social media. We need to get kids off entirely. It's sick. These people are monsters, and this brings the worst out in people. These parents will do anything for a buck, and anything for a view. We have to put a stop to this. Stop watching this content. Oh, that was a rough one, guys. I'm sorry, but I felt like this was an important one to cover. I don't really know how to end this, but thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. Bye, guys. Take care.